Hello, what is up everyone? Welcome back to a new video which is about navigation in Compose, in which we'll be learning how we can navigate between different screens in our Compose app and also send arguments, or you could say like data, whether it's string or integers or whatever we want, from a screen to another, and how we can navigate back to previous screens or pop-up screens from the backstack, like if you want to skip a screen. And we'll learn all of that and how we do that in Jetpack Compose. So let's get started. Before actually we get started, I want to share with you the movies app, or the movies info app, that's what it's called, that I built myself from scratch with Jetpack Compose. And it is open source. You can find it on GitHub. I will link it on the description. Basically, with the app you can find movies, TV series, and actually I haven't implemented the feature of adding watch lists and favorite movies yet, but I will do that. And yes, of course, as I said, when you choose a movie like this, you find overview, like rating, how many hours in the movie, and similar movies. You can watch trailers directly from YouTube. And yes, so this is the app. It's built with Jetpack Compose, Retrofit, this is an API, and of course Roam database. So let's see now. If I turn off internet connection, then I can still use the app. I can still find some movies. I can still open and read without internet connection, because this is a first offline app, and you can check it out. You will learn a lot on how to do that, caching movies and stuff. Of course, you can also check my Instagram account. Let me just put it right here. I post useful Android and general programming and mobile development tips, and you can of course check it out and follow me if you find this that I'm posting helpful. So back to the app. What do we need for the navigation? First of all, we need this library, which is the Compose navigation one. We need this in our graded file. You can find this project as well on GitHub. I will link it on the description, and then you can just copy this. This is the latest version. If you're watching this in the future, then maybe this will be an older version, but anyway, you can update it. Just paste this library and dependency and sync the project. So in our main activity, but before actually I have prepared some screens that we want in our app. So let me just launch the app again. Let me take the emulator here. This is it. We have this home screen. Where is it? This is it. I'm not calling it yet actually. This home screen that just have this button and the text, inside the comments, so nothing more than that. In the on-click, I'm not doing anything yet. I also have a second screen, which is the exact same thing, that just displays second screen, and the last screen as well with a button. So I prepared these screens, and now in our main activity, let's start navigating. First of all, to navigate between screens and create a destination, we need a nav host controller. And to create that, we just say vol nav controller is remember nav controller. Now we have this, which is all we need to navigate and to create destinations in our app. Now, to create the nav graph builder, or navigation graph that will include all our screens to navigate through, we need a nav host. And that nav host will take this nav controller that we've created, and we don't want a graph here. Instead, we want a start destination. So a start destination is just what is the start destination that we want to have in our app. So where we want to start. We want to start from our home screen, and we can just specify home like this. So this is the destination, the route of our screen, because each screen has a route, or you could say an identifier of the screen that makes each screen unique from another. So we say navigate to home, and then we attach this route, then we go to home, and if we attach a different one, then we go to a different one. Now in our nav host, we need to create composables for our screens. So each composable holds a screen, the composable of the screen, which is in this case this one, and the route itself. So that's where we define the route and the composables. We just write composable like this. Then now we need to specify the route for home screen. It is just home, and inside here we need to specify the composable. We can directly write the screen right here, but that's not good. That's why I just created it in another file. Now we can just call our home screen. Now our home screen is actually now part of our nav host. So let's create the other two screens. We just copy this simply and we paste it 2 times for our second screen. So here I can write second, and then the last screen, and I also write last here. So now I can actually navigate through them using this nav controller. So if I, for example, say nav controller.navigate, I can just do something like this and then navigate to this specific screen in which that I wrote here with its route. Now we want to navigate when we click on the buttons, so we need to pass this nav controller to the screens so that we can navigate from there. I just copy it, this is it, and then in my home screen I paste it as a parameter. I do the same to the second screen, and I can also do the same to the last screen. Let's just import that here as well. And it is already imported here, so I need now to pass that nav controller, just nav controller like this, and nav, I think this is better, nav controller. Let's just do the same with this other one. So now I just passed my nav controller to the other screens, I mean to all the screens. Now I can navigate with it right here. I can just say nav controller.navigate. Now I say navigate to the second screen, so because that's the route I specified here. I will actually show you a better approach to handle these routes, because writing them directly like this may cause problems. You might make a typo mistake or something, and then you're like, why can't I navigate? I will show you a better approach to do this. So now I'm navigating into the second screen from my home screen, and in the second screen I want to navigate to the last screen. I can just close this. Now in my last screen I want to pop it or remove it from the backstack, so I can go back to the first screen. I can just paste this, and instead of saying navigate, because now I can actually navigate back to the second screen, but then this will add the last screen to the backstack and it will be messy. So if I want to do this, if I want to go back to the second screen, I just write pop backstack. Now let's run the app. Let me just close this one and see if we can actually navigate. Let's wait for it to build. Here's his building. So now I'm in my home screen. When I click go to second, I am now in my second screen, and when I click go to last, I am not actually navigating. Let me just see. I know why. I did not change the route. So last, this is what I need to do. This is actually the problem with the doing the routes like this. So now I'm in my home screen, and when I click, I'm now in my second screen, and I'm in the last screen. So when I click go back, I just came back to the second screen, and I can just keep doing this. So this is how we can navigate between screens. Now let's say, but first let's just handle these routes in a different way. To do that, we need to create a sealed class where we define all our screens with their routes. So let's create a new class and file, which is going to be a sealed class, and call it just screen like this. Now our constructor will be just the route, which is of type string. Now inside our sealed class, we'll create objects, which are our screens. So first one is the home screen, and that inherits from screen, and its route is home. We just duplicate this for the second screen now, and the last screen. So the route, we change that as well, and the route of the last screen. So now we just changed how we want our routes to be handled. So right here, instead of just writing home directly like this, I can just delete this in the right screen dot home dot route. So now I have my route here, so even if I want to change it later, I can just change it here and it will be changed everywhere. And there is no way I can make a mistake, because yes, that's there now. So here as well, I'm going to change that for my second screen and last screen. And I guess right here as well. And here for the last screen. And let's test that. Let's make sure that everything is fine. Second, I think everything is fine. Let's try that out. We are in our home screen, to the second screen, to the last screen, and we can go back. So now we are handling our routes in a better way. Now let's say I'm in my second screen and I want to remove it from the backstack. So when I am in my last screen, when I go back, I want to skip this screen. What I can do is remove it from the backstack. So the same, so just say navigate, nav control dot pop backstack, and if I run this right now, so from the home screen to the second screen, now when I click go back, I directly go to the home screen, which means I can skip now the second screen because I popped it from the backstack, so it's no longer available. But in case I don't want to do this here, if for example, if this last screen will decide whether we want to skip the second screen when we go back or not, then I can just, if I want to do that, for example, I can just duplicate this, so this will pop this last screen, and then this one will pop the second screen. Again, let's try that out. So now I'm in my home screen, now in the second screen, now in the last screen. When I click go back, I came directly to the home screen. So that's how we can skip screens if we want to. Now the last thing we want to cover here is when we want to pass arguments. So for example, if I have some value, URL or whatever, a counter or something in my home screen, and I want to pass that to the second screen so that the second screen can show it or do something with it. How do we do that? That is done with arguments. So an argument is just something that I can pass through screens and it can be an int and a string or anything, any data type basically, and those arguments can be passed by first adding that next to the route. Basically now when we define the route of our composable of our screen right here, I can just write plus, and then inside this string I can define my route. So you could imagine a route as a URL. So basically this is the base URL, and then this is a query, for example. So I can just put that between two brackets like this, and here I can define now an argument that's, for example, a URL. So I want to pass a URL not actually to the home screen, but instead to the second screen. So I just take this from here, paste it here. Now I want to pass a URL from my home screen to the second screen. So when I navigate to the second screen, I want to pass a URL, and now I just defined what its name is, but now I need to define the arguments, the list of arguments, because I can of course pass more than just one argument. So to do that, we just say arguments is a list of. Now inside here I define my nav argument, and the name of it in this case is URL, and then the type of my argument. So type is going to be nav type dot string for this case. So I defined it now my argument, which is a URL. So like this, I just add it next to the route with a slash and then put it inside two brackets. So this is its name. And then again, I know this is a little bit complex, but actually there are other solutions. There are libraries that handle navigation in a much easier way, but this is the official way to do it. This is the Jetpack Compose way to do it. Basically, this is how Google did it. So this is now the URL name again, and then we define its type. Basically, we can define more than a route by just duplicating this, but I will do that later so you can see how to do that. Now, when I want to navigate to my second screen, I then need to pass the URL. So from my home screen, here I navigate to the second screen. I then need to pass the URL by doing the same, just adding that other string here, and then slash, and whatever I write is now the URL. So let's suppose www.url.com. Now let's run the app. Basically, first of all, let's access that route. I forgot to do that from our second screen. And to do that, to actually can access it with this nav backstack entry. So let's just write that right here. Nav, we'll just call it backstack entry. That we get from this composable. We want to define, we want to have arguments. So with this backstack entry, we can just write backstack entry dot argument that is nullable dot get string, which is URL. Now I have my URL. I can put that inside a variable like this. So now I have a URL, and then you can just pass this URL to your screen or use it any way you want. But this is how I'm going to actually do it. I'm going to pass the nav backstack entry itself to my screen, to my second screen. So if I have more than arguments, instead of just keep passing them to the second screen, I can just get them directly from here. So in my second screen, I'm going to pass now a second thing after my nav controller. That is going to be a nav backstack entry. Let's import that, and then right here in my main activity, I just pass that as well. So backstack entry is backstack entry. So I just pass now my backstack entry. I can take this from here, and now in my second screen I can define that directly right here. So here is my URL. Now let's try printing that by just saying last screen and URL is URL. So that is nullable. To just keep in mind that URL can be null. So let's now run the app and see if we are getting the URL. So from my home screen, this is the URL but I actually printed it in the wrong place. So let's just take this from here and put it inside this string here and run the app. So this is it, second screen and then the URL. Now let's try passing more than just one argument. So let's say we want to have a second argument that can be like a counter, as I said earlier. So a counter like this. Actually, I need to put that inside two brackets as well to tell that this is an argument, and then here I create another one that is going to be now the counter, which is an int type instead of a string type. Now in my second screen I just create that as well. So right here I duplicate this, and then counter is the key is counter, and that is get int. So now I have my counter that I can print as well. So let's try that out. After the URL, let's say counter is counter. You just make sure that actually the key is the same. Yes, it is. And let's run that. So from my home screen, oops, I'm actually making a mistake. So let's see what the mistake is. The app crashed and they said navigation destination. They said they couldn't find this navigation destination. And that's because I actually didn't pass the counter. What a mistake. So I need to pass that. Now I just put a slash and then an integer that defines my counter. So let's run that and see. So here is my counter, 44. Let's say I write a string here instead of an integer, so something like this. Let's see what's happening now. It will crash because it expects to have an integer, so yes, that's what we need to pass. So that's how we pass arguments through screens. And I think, yes, this is it for this video. So this is all we need. We can now navigate between screens as we saw. We can pop screens from the backstack. We can pass arguments. This is how we define our routes now in a more cleaner way. And as I said, don't forget to check my Instagram account and follow me there. And you can get the movies app that I talked about earlier in the video. You can get that and see how it's built and how I did it. And I will, of course, update it and make more commits to the app. So this is it. Thanks for watching and bye.